If I have 5 apples and you keep taking one away from me at a time, and now you're at the 5th apple, I would say I have 0 apples. 0 is an interesting concept, isn't it? Because materially, yes, it's true. I have 0 apples. But the fact that I can even say the word apples indicates that the concept exists. The infinite possibility, the possibility of infinite apples exists. If it was really true nothingness and true 0, I wouldn't even be able to say the term 0 apples. There's no apple to even know. This is the part of my cosmology I would like to touch on today, where I discuss the nature of reality, which is different from the model of the universe. Different because the nature of reality is infinite. The universe that we understand, the material we are made of, is of 3 spatial dimensions. Keeping in mind that our universe of 3 spatial dimensions is also infinite. So I'm going to insert a segment of the Purna mantra here from my cosmology, Purna meaning infinite. This mantra is basically saying that everything is infinite, and when you take from the infinite, that thing, though you subtracted from it, it's still infinite. And the thing that you took and subtracted from that infinite, this thing too is infinite. Only infinite remains. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let's all enjoy our infinityness. Even though the nature of reality is infinite, what I mean by that is it's spatially infinite. Well, spatially -1 for the last one being time. And our universe also is a piece of that infinite and is infinite within itself. So when you think about nested infinity, and that's how I've interpreted this mantra. It's my unique interpretation. And so when you think of nest, you think of cover or a boundary, a layer between this and that. And when you think of something like an upper bound, you think limitation. And then if you're seeing that there's infinity within a boundary, there is a paradox. How can that be? Unless the boundaries themselves between things are an illusion to begin with. We think about questions like what happened before the Big Bang, put in quotes on purpose here, we'll talk about that in future videos. You are basically asking what it is like to go before the material of this universe, and what does it look like. So we kind of perceive it to be nothing. How egotistical are we? Because it's a material we do not understand. We are of the material we are trying to study. So of course, thinking beyond that is going to be sort of difficult. We're trying to conceptualize something not conceptualizable, at least by our 5 input parameters, our 5 senses. So when you're talking about an infinite universe, and I think like positive infinity and negative infinity, that's where it all really started for me, because what does negative infinity even mean? How do you keep going into something that no longer exists? Because when I think of 0, I think no longer exists. But what if that's not what 0 means? Maybe it can mean that in a material sense. But in a conceptual sense, it's just an origin point, an inflection point, for us to represent when you go from right to left, up to down, positive to negative. We also say that it is the opposite side of the coin, where the corresponding opposite would be shunya, the void, not to be confused with shunyata. Actually, when it comes to shunyata, which means eternal absolute nothingness, I want you to understand that the only reason we could even discuss this is because we are somethingness. So somethingness is trying to know absolute nothingness by giving it a word, and a word itself already provides a reference to an object which is something. Can we ever really talk about true nothingness? Shunyata? That's why monks will say niti, like not this, not this. So no matter what you try to do to try to conceptualize it, you are still making it something. So you might wonder, what's even the point? of discussing something like this. Just providing a logical balance, a philosophical framework, and to complete the duality of existence. But when we think of zero, we also have to kind of look at it as beyond material. So like if you go, once again, before the Big Bang, you're at a 0 point, you're in shunya, and that is a void pregnant with potential, like infinite possibilities latent in this structure, and actually no structure. It's identityless, it's formless. It is where everything comes to be. So when you're in shunya, you could say you are, if you go before the Big Bang, you are now at 0 universes. But in shunya, because it's not shunyata, yes, materially you have 0 universes, but conceptually you have infinite universes. You have the capability of the counter going from 0 to 1. And it's about what all is possible from the void,